1. She brings up other guys. Casually. The first sign is so subtle that most men brush it off. She casually mentions other guys in conversations. Sometimes it's about her coworker, her just a friend, or even a celebrity. On the surface, it might look innocent, but pay attention to the tone and timing. Women don't bring up other men randomly. It's often a strategic drop to see how you'll react. If she says something like, "My colleague James just got promoted. He's doing so well," she's not just giving you news. She's planting a seed. She wants to see whether you feel challenged, insecure, or indifferent. Psychology calls this a comparison trigger. It's a way to measure your confidence against another man's achievements. If you flinch, get defensive, or try to prove yourself instantly, you fail the test. Why? Because it shows that you're easily rattled by competition. But if you stay calm, unfazed, and maybe even smile with relaxed confidence, you're signaling strength. Here's the harsh truth. Women are biologically wired to seek the highest value mate, and comparison is their radar. They're scanning if you're secure enough to handle pressure. If you understand this, you'll never overreact. Instead, you'll use it as an opportunity to subtly show your value, not by bragging, but by maintaining calm presence. Remember, the moment she talks about another man, she's not just describing him, she's silently evaluating you. 2. She highlights your weaknesses through jokes. If she's comparing you with others, her words will sting, but wrapped in humor. She might laugh and say, "You're so lazy compared to," or "Why can't you be more like?" She disguises it as banter, but beneath the joke lies a direct comparison. This is one of the most damaging mind games because it works on your subconscious. Studies show that repeated teasing actually shapes how you see yourself. If she consistently points out where you fall short, while implying another man excels in that area, she's chipping away at your confidence. Now, here's the psychological angle. Women use this as both a test and a manipulation tactic. The test part is to see if you'll defend yourself, rise up, and prove you're not weak. The manipulation part is darker. If she constantly does it, she may be conditioning you to chase her approval by trying to fix yourself according to her comparisons. The right move here isn't to snap back or try to outdo her imaginary benchmark. The right move is to call out the disrespect calmly. "I don't compare myself with other men. If you do, that's on you." That statement alone flips the script. It shows that you have self-worth that doesn't depend on her grading system. Men who master this boundary automatically stand out because most guys crumble under these jokes. If she's comparing, she'll always mask it with sarcasm, but a sharp man knows exactly what's going on. 3. She tests you in public situations. Comparison doesn't always come through words. It shows up in how she behaves when other men are around. Notice this. Does she suddenly act colder with you when another guy enters the room? Or does she laugh extra hard at another man's joke? These aren't accidents. Women use public settings as a stage for testing dominance. She's silently comparing. Who makes me feel more proud, him or the other guy? Imagine you're at dinner and she starts praising the waiter for remembering her order while ignoring your effort. That's not just casual, it's a display tactic. Women will sometimes use other men's presence to evaluate your reaction. Do you get jealous? Do you shrink? Or do you remain grounded, still leading with calm authority? Women find out more about you in those moments than in hours of private talk. Psychology calls this social proof testing. A woman's attraction often spikes when she sees how a man holds himself in competitive social environments. If you get rattled when she throws attention elsewhere, you fail the test. But if you carry yourself with composure, she realizes you're not shaken by competition. In fact, the more relaxed you are, the more she'll return her focus back to you. So, if she compares you with other men in public, don't fight for validation. Let your presence speak louder than her games. 4. She suddenly becomes overly critical. When a woman starts comparing you with others, her patience with your flaws shrinks overnight. Suddenly, everything you do seems wrong. The way you dress, the way you text, even the way you sit. She'll nitpick constantly. Why? Because in her mind, she's holding you up against another man's highlight reel. Maybe she sees someone else dressing sharper, being more ambitious, or simply giving off a vibe of confidence, and now she expects you to meet that standard. This behavior exposes a deep truth. Comparison fuels dissatisfaction. Once she's looking outward, she can't stop noticing where you fall short. And here's the trap men fall into. They start bending over backward to meet her new demands. You change your style, your habits, your personality, just to stop her criticism. But that's the worst move you can make. Why? Because the more you adjust under her pressure, the less respect she has for you. What works instead is setting boundaries. If she criticizes excessively, you call it out. If you're always comparing me with others, maybe you should be with them instead. That line, said with calm composure, instantly resets the power dynamic. Women respect men who won't tolerate endless criticism. If she's comparing you harshly, it's a sign her focus is drifting. But how you handle it determines whether she recenters on you or loses interest completely. 5. She withdraws emotionally while keeping you around. One of the clearest signs she's comparing you is emotional withdrawal. She's still there physically. She replies to texts, she meets you, but her energy feels distant. She laughs less, shares less, and her affection drops. This happens because mentally, she's evaluating options. She's not fully present with you because her mind is scanning elsewhere. Psychologists call this emotional detachment as a comparison phase. Women do this to keep their current man as a safety net while exploring if someone else might be better. But here's the kicker. Most men panic when they feel her energy drop. They chase harder, beg for attention, or double down on effort. That only makes things worse, because it confirms her suspicion that you're not strong enough to hold your own. The right move is counterintuitive. Give her space, match her energy, and stop over-investing. If she feels you pulling back too, she'll face a reality check, because now she risks losing you completely. That fear often snaps her out of comparison mode. So if she starts detaching, don't smother her. Recognize it for what it is, a sign she's mentally lining you up against someone else. And the way you respond will either raise your value in her eyes or destroy it. 6. She brings up her ex more than usual. If a woman is comparing you with her ex, it's one of the most toxic dynamics you'll ever face. She might say things like, "My ex used to do this," or "He always knew how to handle that." Pay attention, this is a direct comparison. What she's doing is anchoring you against her past relationship, using her ex as a measuring stick. The danger here is that you might start competing with a ghost, trying to outdo someone who isn't even in the picture anymore. That's a losing game. Psychology explains this as anchoring bias. Once someone establishes a strong reference point, like an ex who had certain qualities, their brain unconsciously uses that as a baseline. But here's the truth. If she's still comparing you with her ex, she's not fully over him. You cannot fight for space in her mind against a memory. What you can do, however, is refuse to participate in the comparison. If she keeps mentioning her ex, call it out calmly. If you're still stuck on him, maybe you're not ready for me. That statement instantly puts the responsibility back on her. It shows you won't play the role of a replacement. Women respect men who won't let themselves be dragged into comparison battles with ghosts. If she's comparing you with an ex, it's less about you and more about her inability to move forward. Don't absorb that weight. 7. She tries to spark jealousy intentionally. The final and most obvious sign is when she deliberately tries to make you jealous. She might dress up more when she knows she'll be around other men, post stories with male friends, or drop hints about someone showing interest in her. The goal here isn't random. It's a psychological experiment. She wants to see how you'll react under pressure. Will you get insecure and beg for reassurance? Or will you stay calm, collected, and completely unmoved? This tactic is rooted in female psychology. By creating competition, she measures your strength. Men who crumble under jealousy signals are instantly marked as insecure. But men who stay grounded, who don't chase, don't interrogate, don't spiral, stand out as high value. The key here isn't to ignore her completely, but to show that you're not bothered. A simple, confident smile when she tries to provoke jealousy says more than 1,000 words. It tells her, I know my worth, and no one threatens that. Ironically, the moment she sees you can't be shaken, her attraction spikes. Because deep down, she doesn't want a man who panics. She wants a man who remains unshaken when tested. If she's sparking jealousy, it means she's comparing, but also that she's checking if you're strong enough to keep her focus. Pass that test, and you flip the entire dynamic in your favor. When a woman compares you with other men, she won't announce it out loud. Instead, she'll reveal it through subtle signs, casual mentions, sharp jokes, public tests, criticism, withdrawal, bringing up her ex, or sparking jealousy. Most men miss these signals and end up chasing harder, which only lowers their value. But the men who recognize these patterns gain the upper hand. Because once you see the game, you can choose how to play. The secret isn't to fight comparisons. It's to remain so grounded, so confident in your own worth, that no comparison shakes you. Women test men not to destroy them, but to reveal their strength. If you understand this, you stop reacting emotionally and start responding with calm power. And that's when she realizes no man compares to you.